Hello, friends. All right. Queenside. Hello. Are we declaring these? I don't know what Undercrackers was getting tagged for. Yep. Declaring them. Thank you very much. Added. Thank you for the 10. Let me read this chushu. Let me catch up here. We have some great news. Yep. The KNVB account received some refunds. So our blitz rating is now 2966. Yes, we are getting a new high blitz rating. It's higher than my highest. Because this guy, who I was suspicious of, was up to something. I played this guy at 2800, 2 games. First game was this. The guy's playing h5, g5. Immediately I was like, this is very weird. We had an unbelievable position here. He sacked and I was like, what? This can't be good. But then like he made it good. And then he went for the flag here. And honestly, like, it kind of looks like a regular game but he's just playing weird. It's definitely not a good game. In many ways, it's a very regular game. But definitely strange. And then we had this game where he locked everything up. And he was just shuffling. Like, I was shuffling too, but I'm trying to flag him, but he wasn't able to make a constructive move. I don't know what was going on here. And of course I became immediately suspicious when, you know, he's just shuffling into a loss and then he just plays rook takes pawn and then resigns. It's like, what just hit us? Like, what the hell is that? I did Java, absolutely. Anytime I'm playing someone that I'm like starting to get some weird feelings about, immediately I want to close the game up, see how fast they are, see how willing they are to make progress, etc. And he failed all the tests. So we got some points back there. And as I said, we're now not just 2955, but 2966. So there we go. We've reached new heights. Still takes a while to scroll down to us, but we're here within the top 150. That's what matters. We're right in here. The leaderboard takes some time to populate with this new rating because, as you saw, it doesn't even show on my profile yet. that it's a new high. But here we are, right in here. Yep, top 150. Big, big. So there you go. That's my good news to report. All right, now to other orders of business. To other orders of business. Barry Moist, thanks for the 5 subs. Barry, are we declaring these subs? Are these pro habit subs? Hey there, Latinum. Not sure, Brazilian Monk. I'm not sure it has one. Barry's declaring. Consider them declared. Okay, appreciate that. Now, what is this other? Okay. What are ESAP and Chuschu discussing here? A single game? A single 3-0 game? A single 3-0 game. Uh-huh. .3-0, one game. Chuschu and ESAP have both agreed to terms. Betting subs and coin flip. ESAP, his name doesn't have the X on it. Okay, one single game. I can't start the game, so because I'm not on that same account. Correct, Mad Physicist. That was actually part of the negotiation from Chuschu, if I have it right. That was, habits was included in the negotiations. Correct, Tim. This is a known criminal. However, we can certainly evaluate his many wrongdoings after one 3-0 game with habit subs on the line, surely. Looking like a rough position for Chuschu here so far. I don't know if criminals deserve second chances, but they certainly deserve to pay for them. Everything looking good here about Black's position, but it's not all bad. Maybe he's trying to flip, like get some trades in. You can see that. Okay, wondering why that move was played. Like, don't you just count it up and say, okay, can't go there, where else can I go? Instead, just hands over a pawn. D3 is quite concerning, but I wonder if there's an avenue for that to be played, you know? You'd have to really be... Yeah, you'd have to really be thinking about it, but, you know, something like this can definitely work. It's a pretty tough move. Okay, I played this. I mean, we're getting into a very lost looking position. Nope, stream just began there, Peter. Hello, V-Reds. Yep, we're gathering the crowd. I'm gonna say a move like one of those two makes some sense. Yeah, I like that. I like that in general. Yeah, this is a bit concerning, yeah. Because you almost have to do one of these. Big problems here in this position, but... Jeez. He's completely lost now. Not even close here. But there's not many elements of this game that have been very good for Chuschu. It's pretty much been awful right from the start. He had a bad opening. He hung a pawn for no reason in the middle game. He allowed d3, doubled isolated pawns. Then he just blunders knight f3 in one move. Yeah, it hasn't been a good game. Yeah. Rip. There you go. A single game. It looks like Habits is going to get some love after all. That was quite bad, Chuschu, I have to say. That was quite rough on your part. Not many redeeming things about that game. Opening, no good. Middle game, no good. Tactics, no good. Not many good things there. Wish we had more to say. Surely we didn't, Tim. But these are keen eyes from the cannon. I don't think these are apology subs. Those are just part of the deal. Interesting. It is an unrated game. It is an unrated game. Isab, why are you playing unrated games? You scared about your 2100 there, pal? Sneaking an unrated game. I mean, I can't think of a bet, wager, match, marbles, anything The only time I've ever done an unrated game, which is fair, is if there's some sort of odds that are being offered. And I think in general, anyone, I mean, it's high energy to play it, but if I'm the one giving someone odds, or if the chat's like reducing the time or something, it's nice if it's not rated, although I don't always have control over that. But no, anytime you're sending an unrated challenge, it's definitely very intentional. You can't tell me, oh, didn't even realize it was, damn, didn't realize it was unrated. No, the default is rated. You have to try to make a match unrated. There's no such thing as a, oh, I just didn't realize it was unrated. Nobody plays unrated, and we don't host unrated. You think that I want to sit here and watch an unrated match? We don't host unrated matches. We don't host unrated bets. That's correct, ABD. Yes, tripped and fell. A true criminal. Even in the face of the law, ABD, he's at it again. First of all, Choose Chew, let me update our 10 more subs, 10 on top of that from Choose Chew, which does bring our habits tally up quite nicely. So thank you for thinking of the habits while you were dealing with this criminal here. We don't have the counter on the screen here because I'm about to do our speed run, but I'll flash it there for you. Boom. Correct, ABD. There seems to be while I don't think we could quite pin him for that long, there's definitely a movement here. We're about to start our speed run. Young Ethan has wasted the court's time with an unrated match, of which I don't think anyone has any interest in watching. Unrated. Good Lord. It's a taint and a reflection on this channel that there even was an unrated match hosted. Tim sniffed it out, knew something was up. So I would tend to agree with the recommendation, ABD. As always, it will be tough to levy a 8-weeker out of it, but unrated matches are definitely a no-go, and he is already ban evading, as ESAP is supposed to be banned for a very long time. So with all this in mind, the court has enough evidence to put the criminal ESAP away. ESAP, what is it this time? Which account number are we on this time? 12? 13? Which one? 12, yeah, got it, 12. Out of here. A ban is indeed a ban. Now, obviously, there is no way that ultimately you can prevent someone from making an alt. But what you can do is you can stand up to them engaging in the chat, especially trying to con the viewers. In Twitch, he was linking a 1200 account, trying to play esteemed members of the community for money. Now he's over here playing unrated matches. Ugh, it's sickening, really. Very rodent behavior, indeed. Indeed, this court can, we can only act towards the future, ABD. Can't change the past. We will be tough on rodent crime. That's correct, Tim. And we can't have that anymore. We can't have it. It took Chuschu to, you know, lose a game to the lad and bleed some habit subs for everyone to realize that this has gone on too long. So, Chuschu, thanks for playing your part in this sting operation. We were able to successfully close the case on young Ethan Sapir. And we can now proceed with the long-awaited speed run. Correct him. It was nice of him to voluntarily do that. Now that the, you know, now that the wire is off, Chuschu can return to, of course, his normal openings rather than baiting ESAP with that one. ABD, you'll have to brandish your sword soon. I'm just saying, keep it sharp. Keep it sharp. I don't know if Java's here, but a few people were wondering what the opening is. Really, it's just pawns like this, knights like this, bishop out, castle, maybe queen c2. That's pretty much the setup that we are looking for. And I've been starting my games with white, especially with the move knight f3. And almost everyone is playing e5. So they're hanging a pawn against me on move 1. All part of the plan. So far, like 50% of the time, we're just winning a pawn in the center. Correct platinum. We did some research, and I think it's 50%, a little bit under 50% of the time, that someone has lost a pawn in the first 3 moves. But it's a nice solid opening, Java. We're not playing for any like crazy advantage, but we're playing, you know, it's very similar to some of the other things that we've done speedruns on. For example, the Stonewall. The Stonewall is immediately relinquishing a ton of an advantage. So you think about the London is not a crazy big advantage. The Stonewall is even bad for white, according to the engine. There are many openings that just don't quite do it, according to the engine. And this one does quite well. Like there's nothing wrong with this at all. White still has a slight edge here. But yeah, we're not playing to try to fight for, you know, best move in the position, etc., etc. We're playing it because the moves are obvious, they're easy to learn, easy to remember, the pieces always go on the same squares, and we can get a very clear picture of what our middle game positions should look like, because so many of the games will look the same. That's why I like to do speedruns, because you can present one opening, and you can play it for white and black, by the way. So this is something you can use with both colors. My favorite thing to do is find a system like that. It doesn't have a nifty name. We need to find that nifty name, don't we? That's where you guys come in. It really is like basically a Philidor setup, but we don't have a special name for it yet. All right, let's give it a go. We are back and going to continue here. We're at 600. We're playing 3-minute chess, and we're playing our opening. We're going to start with knight f3. d3, bishop there. Probably just go knight d2. Go c6. Then we'll go e4. Bishop there always makes me think of the move d4, but for now, we'll keep it simple and unpin. And castle, play c3. I think I like c3 here. A little more space for the pieces. Maybe opponent might be dreaming of taking on f2 here. Okay. We'll castle. See what black wants to do. Okay, thinking about rook e1, also queen c2. These are the normal moves we want to play. Let's go for this one. And I think one of our next moves is going to be d4. If he really doesn't bring any pawn into the center, I think it's high time we play this. But all right, we're dealing with a guy who's, I mean, he's got knight here, bishop here. This guy only has one target. He's only thinking about one thing. He's got his eyes on the prize. Takes, knight takes, and he's hoping to cash in on f2. Well, in the immortal words of Yasser Seirawan, I'll fall for it. Okay, we'll shut down that bishop, which basically shuts down the attack. Take this one here, open the rook. He's definitely going to take that, I'm almost sure. And we can respond with a couple different things. Okay, he goes here. He's not threatening anything though. So because the knight's covering, all we need to do is move this knight. And I mean, let's get real, guys. What's the likelihood that this queen gets lost to this bishop right here? Yeah, pretty much 100%. I mean, let's get real. There was no way that was being defended. So we'll take, he decides to take that. We'll get that bishop off the board. Maybe queen takes on d4 next. And I mean, the only thing remaining of his attack is really this knight, and we'll go ahead and get rid of it. We'll take it off your hands. We'll take it off your hand. Bishop here, maybe we can set up a mate threat. Rook there, queen f5. Let's take that with the rook. And yeah, I think queen e4 looks pretty good. It looks even better now because it sort of looks like we're going to take back, but of course there's no way he manages to keep himself from getting mated here. It's impressive. He showcases that he does see the checkmate. Unfortunately, it will only delay things. This is going to be check and then checkmate. GG. Mr. David. what happened in this one. We basically got our setup, everything that we wanted, and by the time we did, he was already hanging pieces. That happens a lot in these games. All I'm doing is doing my setup, just no problems, not looking for any danger. And then these guys are going crazy. As we know, in the middle game, a nice secondary plan is to start pushing these pawns. So I definitely was considering that. Queen c2, push these ones. And then, of course, maybe start pushing or taking the center because he's just laying no claim to the center of the board. All right, let's go again. Okay, we got the black pieces this time. e4, d6. Oh, queen f3. Any guess which move is coming next? All right, I like to play knight d7 against this. We've already had this once before, and the reason is that, hey, it's nice to make an immediate threat. Most of these players, once they lose their light squared bishop, I feel like they just collapse basically. So, and yeah, even if he defended that by playing d4, I would have just played e5, and knight d7 is part of my setup, so it's nothing too crazy. You know, you don't need to think of it as some weird move you need to remember. Okay, we're just getting developed here. I am hitting this pawn, so he's going to go defend it. We're going to castle. He's got only pawns and the one queen developed. Okay, we have an option to maybe move this knight and go f5. That looks pretty good. I'm going to stick with our game plan here a little bit with c6. And I do kind of like d5 here. I'll go h6 and really stick to our setup for the moment. Bishop there. Let's go queen c7. Knight a4. Can't say I really understand what that one's doing. We'll go here. Queen there does nothing except hang this pawn, so thank you very much. And then maybe if the queen goes back, it will win even more material. Yeah, I'm wondering where the queen is gonna finally go to be safe. Queen e3. Yeah, I don't think we want to put that in, and looks like we're gonna claim the win here. Very nice. So as black, very important, we want to start with d6 just to stop e5. Usually my next move will be knight f6. Force him to defend the e-pawn somehow. In this case, obviously, we're dealing with a guy who's just kind of going for this cheese. If they play d4, then we just play e5, and we're going to get our setup as normal. But I like to play knight d7 because it comes with the added benefit of knight e5. And then once they lose their bishop, they're just, you know, he was probably feeling pretty confident, maybe targeting that pawn like my opponent last game. But once they lose that bishop, they lose all their confidence. They lose their mojo. All right, we're going to go knight f3. Okay. Well, I guess we get a pretty good look at, you know, exactly what our opening is here. G5 and G4. I think in the past I've pretty much always played H3 against these sorts of moves, so I'll do so again. We're just gonna continue here. Takes. Okay. Once again, we didn't even make it to move 10 without my opponent just tossing us a piece. Like, I'm minding my own business here. I'm just doing my setup. He's okay. He's very excited to lose material. He's only moving pawns here. We are going to have to bring the knight back because it happens to be the only safe square. A4 is a move I would play even if the queens were on the board and anything. So definitely like A4 here. Okay, here. I think we can play bishop B5. It's a nice pin there. And we're also utilizing the pin here. King D7, there's knight E5. So we win a little bit of material here. And what should we do now? I'm actually going to go here because I'd like to get my knight to E5. So I'm going to boot that knight away and then play knight E5 myself. Okay, we can go here. Knight's probably going to go to D7, but that will be some nice trades for me. We can also take here, but just want to make sure I have a move after like bishop D6, for example. Yeah, we can do that. I suspect we may see that. Knight D7 also will take. But yeah, there we go with bishop D6. It's a good move. If G4, knight H4, or knight D4 are going to be very good. My next move is knight D4 anyway, threatening to take on F5 and then win the knight on F6. He's going for trades. Never going to say no to good old-fashioned trade. And now, how do I get more trades happening? That's all I want to know. Maybe C4. Obviously, if takes, we're pretty happy with that. I think at B4, I might even play C5 and knight D7 just to trade more pieces. And G4 does not dislodge the knight because we can just take it. That's a good move. I like that one from him. I'm going to take this, and we have actually rook D8 to fork the knights, but I was counting on rook E1 to skewer the king and take the knight this way. And I think we can just get rid of these pawns here. Go ahead and pre-move that one. Let's go H4. Can make a queen right away, I think. Hitting the knight, and I will probably sack for it if he plays king there. Just should be a lot easier this way. G3, and then we just pawns can't move. We have this one, so we'll let the king occupy itself with that pawn while we go over here, and that should be good. Because yeah, black can't really stray too far from the H pawn, and I think that means it'll be a fairly easy win. There wasn't much to this opening. I mean, a lot of random pawn moves, a lot of pre-moves. All we did was go for our setup. What would my next moves be if I didn't blunder? Fair question. Probably queen C2, probably A4. And the move A4 would most likely lead to my other moves, because if takes, that would give me other moves. If B4, that would give me maybe the C4 square. If like C6 or something, then maybe I would take to open the rook. But yeah, probably once I bring my queen here, Then I think it's time to maybe move this knight f1, or knight b3 or knight c4, depending on which moves happen. And then maybe get this bishop out, bring a rook to d1. But yeah, at that point I can respond a little bit to my opponents, whatever they do. And yes, everyone I'm playing gets their rating back. And yes, I'm sure some people have a miserable time, get crushed, and maybe that's the one game that makes them never return. It is possible. Extremely, extremely unlikely. It might even be just a game against someone their level that they lose, and it makes them never come back. But obviously, it could be the game against me. So I just have to count on the fact that of all the hundreds of thousands, if not more, that watch the speedruns, might get into chess, I just have to make sure that number is higher than the people we're scaring away. The King's Canadian attack. You're definitely right that there's a lot of similarities queenside. I do Edwig. That's not really on my end. I don't know. I've done my part, which is just communicate that it is for one, and that I'm starting one, which is what I am. And if they're okay with that, I mean, it's sort of up to them how they want to handle that side. But I probably am not really gonna do their job and chase them down like, hey, make sure to put that there. But you're right. It would be a little better if it had it. Kick issues, casino. It sounds like Kick might be eating a lot of people's messages. I'm not sure. Feels a little quiet at the moment, but some people were saying that Kick was nibbling on their messages. That's right, Hellacious Noob. Black Lion, very similar, right? That filter with like knight f8, knight g6. Maybe a refresh helps. It does look like it's back just by the amount of people typing, but yeah, it seemed like there was a weird period there. Just the ones that aren't funny. Well, your messages come through loud and clear, G Madrid. Loud and clear. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, knight f3, always starting with this one. d3 and e4. And so if knight f6, bishop e2, and there's no time for knight g4 because we're getting castled. So just always on the lookout for that tender f2 square. You can play c3. Still ready to castle. And castle there instead of c3 would be completely fine, but the way I see it, I'm ready to do this, so I feel like we needed to rush. Queen e7. Okay, let's go for our expansion over here with the pawns. Obviously, he'll need to move that pawn either 1 or 2 squares. Again, if we go here, we'll probably be dealing with knight g4, so not particularly interested in doing that. I'm going to play knight c4 here, expecting the bishop to go back, and now I think we can get away with b5. So takes, bishop takes f2 is a discovered attack, but I'm also hitting the knight, so I don't think it was possible just there. I'm going to play b6 now that we've got the open file. And again, I'm doing all this pretty much without this bishop on c1 moving. It's nice because we have this It's nice because we have this open A file for the rook, so we're actually doing work here. We can take this, and if the rook moves, we can just take more material. So we did win something there. H3. Still, knight here. Feels like knight e4 can be played, although knight f5 is a great reaction. So actually knight h4 looks pretty good to me because it forces this trade. And this rook is kind of funny here, but I'm just gonna leave it, yeah, because as soon as the knight moves, I'm ready to take. But are we gonna take right away, or are we gonna throw knight f5 in? Knight f5 looks like a good in-between move. Then we'll play this, and funnily enough, knight f5 I feel like our great tempo move, which I stand by the tempo, does fall victim to g6. Not right now, but on the previous turn. So here we have queen takes. We also have queen takes h7, but I think queen h6 is the way to do it. Yeah, if knight e4 was played earlier, knight f5 and pawn takes would, I think, just be winning. Ooh, clever. Clever. King this way. Okay. Let's go here. Hit this bishop, although if pawn takes, I think I'm actually just going to take it straight back. Okay, taking this way. I don't know if that gets things done, but I think so. Taking here is a little bit smarter. So we'll threaten the back rank mate, which means he probably needs to make a move like that to defend it. But as soon as he does that, let's see how everything gets covered here with knight f6 coming and rook a8 coming. Okay, he's defending. Respect. Queen takes. We have rook a8. So the queen is stuck defending the knight, which is the other reason. Of course, rook a8 is tempting, but not necessary. Not necessary. GG. Yeah, this is actually how I expect this opening to go most of the time. Like, if black just plays a normal setup, we play ours, and you kind of just push these pawns up, plus knight c4. Usually tough for black to deal with there. If a5, then also knight c4. Plus b5 as well looks good. And yeah, we're just playing rook e1, or probably h3 first, rook e1, maybe queen c2. Depending which a pawn moves, maybe b5 as well. All right, starting with knight f3. Okay. We're gonna get our opening very easily here because, yeah, black is going for this setup. c3 will be a nice move against this bishop, and wow, f5. Would not have expected that. Okay. I'm thinking about a move like d4 here. Let's continue our general expansion over here. This is kind of what we do as soon as the... Maybe we can play this. The other option is rook b1. But the reason I say that is to play b5 so that the rook is defended. And I guess knight c4 would be the other move. We can go knight c4. If bishop e6, I think knight g5. For some reason, I'm thinking bishop e6 is a very likely move. Knight g5, I think, works decently against that. Knight g5 takes. H6, we have knight e6. So yes, we are taking some double pawns here. But quite possible that e6 is blundered, just because there used to be a bishop there, so you're not really thinking about it. But based on the time spent on this move, it looks like, it looks like our opponent is aware of that, but unfortunately not. Queen f6, we're going to take this. Especially with queen f2 threatened. And now queen d5 and taking on e4 looks like the right thing to do. Check. Knight f6 is next, so I think we do need to take knight f6 anyway, and we'll just come all the way back. Bishop e3, and remember, we're up the exchange here. We also have the two bishops, so this looks very comfortable. d5. Well, we got double pawns, so this feels like one we're probably supposed to take. Either bishop c4 or bishop f3 to me look very smart. Let's go for this one. Oh, not a bad move there. I think the follow-up for this one is just going to be bishop takes c6. So I respect the attempt. Let's take this one. So at least now there's no e4 attacking my bishop. Still, the move e4 is going to be played, and I think it's fine because we just moved the queen out of the way. And if he wants to take here, we're just still up that piece, so. Don't do that one, that's all I know. Let's give this check, because queen trade we're happy with, and king h8 we're happier with. Yeah, that's... can't do much there. Now, this game, we basically got to see our opening in its totality because nothing our opponent did really played against it. But yeah, I'm not particularly scared about like a pawn storm like this because we have these pieces. So let's imagine here that black played f4. And okay, we did whatever over here. Say bishop b2 and then g5. Can always go h3 and then knight h2, and we're gonna win this pawn. Or if he plays h4, then we just like we're controlling all the squares. So hopefully even you guys can see there's no attack, nothing to be scared of. And I'm one to be scared of an attack, so even I feel comfortable here with knight h2. It's just nice to have these pieces all aimed at these squares. So I'm not too bothered by this f4 idea. Didn't get played anyway though. Okay, e4 we play d6. Looks like we're playing the same thing so far. I will include just an early c6 because I suspect that bishop takes might happen, and then I just want to stop knight d5. Okay, let's castle. I will play g6. This is a common move that I've been doing as soon as this happens. And we see d4. we'll just continue with our setup here. We have the 2 bishops, but there's no rush to develop the bishop on c8 necessarily. Let's once again go for this. This is always a really nice plan to do next. Makes sense once we played c6. Hitting this pawn, so maybe getting ready for b4. b4 is it's a high energy move. Respect. I was wondering if this one was going to get played. We'll retreat the knight, I guess. Not in a particular rush here, although this move is definitely strong because we're not really connected here, so we don't have time to do anything about it. So I think this would have been the most annoying to face. A5 now. We'll take with the queen so we can maybe bring the rook in to hit white's queen. Here there's queen e3 and still everything is covered. We can play b4 and win this pawn, and that does look like pretty much the most interesting thing that we could do. Question is whether we include b4 or not. Maybe not for the moment. Let's do this. We'll see queen here and then maybe knight d4. Knight d4 just has that really nice tactic, queen c3, knight e2, so setting that up feels pretty good. And obviously at this rating, a lot of people are just going to take because it's a legal move. However, b4 from the guy was a good move earlier, so I have a little bit more faith in him. But maybe we'll see something like h3, which is normally a good move, but here runs into this. Okay, he does take, but don't count him out yet. This guy is, in general, playing pretty well. And as I said, even though I think this was a blunder, I think he turned it into a playable move by finding queen f3. Still good for black, but definitely more playable. Do we want to go here or just back? I think I will actually go here to stop e5. And we are threatening to take because we're covering the rook with our queen. It's almost like if he's too advanced right now, he might be too advanced for himself. Maybe he's going to leave the knight there because he sees something here, but otherwise, the only available square is knight back to b1. He does play it. Very good. I think we gotta take that. Gotta take that. I think it's time to be greedy. Take everything in front of me. Rook c1, we're taking again. And he's going to offer us a trade, which in this case, I think we're probably pretty happy to do. I will even do it with flair by playing d3, which just means if he takes, he's going to be losing this knight. And we have bishop b2 coming. Very tough position. I don't really see anything for him to do. Rook there. Let's just keep it nice and easy and trade the pieces. After g3, probably the bishop to h3 was the move. Yeah, definitely a great game. Ultimately, some small mistakes made, but nothing too serious. In a weird way, I thought one of the worst decisions he made was bishop g5 takes f6, because most of his other moves actually made a lot of sense. But yeah, this is really ill-advised. Just bring the bishop out and give it away for nothing. So when I see people do that, I usually throw in c6 a little bit earlier to just deal with the knight. Basically, if I'm in a rush to play knight d7 or a rush to castle, then I'll play those moves. But if I'm not, c6 is a nice move to throw into just about any position, or c3 for white. Yeah, he did have some pre-moves. I agree. What the heck? This guy's very, very talented. Okay, d4, so I think we can play knight f6 here, then d6, and then knight d7 and e5. So he plays with f3. Wonder if that means he's going to go for d5 here. We're just getting our usual setup. Remember, c6, such a useful move. I love playing c6. Always deals with a knight there very, very nicely. G4 looks quite bad. I'm just gonna castle, keep our setup. Let's just go b5. It feels like we're under attack here, but I'm not that scared. Fine to offer a queen trade anytime your opponent's like kind of chucking pawns at you. It's not never a bad idea to go for a queen trade. Bishop h3. Yeah, really not a bad move there. Not a bad move at all. I think what I might do is take and go here instead of trading queens, follow up with rook d8, and then maybe bishop c5, activating all the pieces. But first of all, I was gonna say, unfortunately, he may not even realize that that's playable. Okay, so instead of taking, I think I'm gonna start with this because he's not going to be able to save this anyway, and this one will stop him from castling. So that makes this move even more powerful. h4 is hanging. We also have queen there, but sure, I'll take this. Looks reliable. Bishop takes g5. Okay, now bishop h4 should be winning. I think there's going to be mate in 3 here. Because the king is completely stuck, we might see knight g3, but the other option is queen f2, which I was expecting we would see. Now queen check, the queen is pinned, so it has to be knight there, which we can then take. And then take the queen on f2 for mate. Utilizing that pin there, and that will be checkmate. GG Jed. Against d4, we still do the same thing. Knight d7, e5, all good. We get our setup. c6, my favorite move to play, and I'll even castle into this. In general, I'm not too scared of that. In case you are, there are other moves you can play. You can just start with these moves here. You can go queen here. You can play knight c5 and offer a trade that might make you feel a bit more safe when you see this. But you should be starting to get a very clear idea where the pieces go. Like, it's always the same. The knight, bishops. This knight often makes it to c5 along with these two pawn pushes on both sides. Queen here, h6, castle. I'm not sure what you mean by no e5, pandas. I will be playing e5 anyway, of course. f4, e5. That's okay, Christomir. Please enjoy. Please enjoy. All right. Let's jump back in. e4, d6. Go knight d7, and yep, this is why we play. This is why we play this move order. I mean, we just want a pawn, so even if they trade the queens, it doesn't matter. We just want a center pawn. It's definitely worth it. Here, with knight f3 being basically pre-moved, at this point, this game should be pretty easy. Seems like he thinks we're playing bullet. It's just the vibe that I'm getting here. Play a6. Gonna develop very modestly. We'll just do the thing where we put all the pawns on light squares. So this one can actually be taken, but what I will do is play h5 so that my h-pawn is not troublesome. Bishop here, taking another pawn. Got this pawn. I mean, the pawns are just dropping one by one here. One by one, my friend. This guy has a lot of energy. That's a lot of pawns. It might be one too many. It might be time to throw in the towel, Alex. Just this one time. It's the end of the line here. I know it looks like you still have a pawn on the board and there's still hope, but there isn't. There's no hope. There's none. Go, Alex. Well, he might be an abandoner. Wonder if he's gonna be making any more moves here. That one YouTuber said never resign. He's still here though. That's what's impressive. He hasn't abandoned the game. He hasn't left. He's still here. Typical, only winning on time. Well, GG Alex. There's not much I can say about this though. I mean, I can sit here and try to feel bad for the guy, but I don't, not at all. He pre-moved pretty much every single move. Did you notice that? Almost every single move he played was pre-moved, and there's a reason we're very specific about the move order at the start. We go with d6, knight f6, and then we bring knight d7 and e5. And he plays e5, which means we just take it. Nice and easy. And then, yeah, literally every single move he played was speedy. Not very thoughtful. I mean, basically, it doesn't really matter if you're playing a GM or not. If you've used 20 seconds and you have 2 pawns left on the chessboard, you need to rethink things. The way that you are playing this game is not acceptable. 20 seconds have gone by and you have 2 pawns remaining. Like, you just need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe change, maybe use like 3 extra seconds per move. Just be mildly more thoughtful. Need to do some self-reflection there. All right, we start with knight f3, going for d3, knight d2, and e4. Ooh, interesting. I'll probably start with c3 here, but interesting move. Don't think we've seen d4 yet. I think knight c4 here makes the most sense. We could also still play this. Of course, we could deviate and go for fianchetto, but you know, we're trying to play a system with e4 and bishop e2, so we'll probably go with knight here and then with e4 after this, or he's going to blunder this. Okay, I was expecting that to be defended, and then I was going to go e4 and maybe take that, bishop e2, castle, but looks like he's just giving me this one. I think if we played knight takes c6, maybe he could take on b2 and threaten to take on a1, so I didn't want any part of that. e4, bishop g4 here with the backwards. Yeah, I barely had time to predict it. It's just such a, I don't know, low-rated players have a hard time with backwards knight moves, so I was quite sure that we were going to see that one. Don't do it. Don't do it, DB. Well, he definitely got hurt here. He's addicted to losing material. Okay, oh, I like that one. Let's go here. Queen a4 also. This check doesn't really lead anywhere. Impressive, impressive. This move always exists. Let's go king d2. and maybe we can get rook d7 from the guy. Nice, helpful move. Instead, we see c5, which is, I would say, fairly helpful as well. GGDB, but wow, you impressed with the move d4. c3, I think, is a nice response here, and I like knight c4. Immediately, we put a tough question to him, like, is he gonna play f6? Is he gonna play queen e7? Is he gonna play bishop d6? And I think from here, my next move is basically gonna be e4. And after e4, I think we're pretty much back to our setup. So happy enough with that. Even though this was an interesting move, it kind of froze me for a sec. I was like, wait a minute, we can't play e4, not as easily. So what do we want to do here? But knight c4 makes sense. If they play e4 right here, or what do you mean? I mean, you're asking me if I'm going to take a free pawn in the center? The answer is yes. All right, J row. Clearly, this person is Chinese and a fan of J-Lo. All right, let's go. Knight to d2, followed by e4. Get our setup once again. a5 is quite the prophylactic move. That's too deep for me. Guys, you gotta stop. Gotta stop hanging this pawn. I mean, I'm gonna keep taking it, of course. It's too much. So I'm in and I'm out. That's it. I don't know if he's got aspirations for the f2 square here, but let's just keep it simple. Bishop there. I am probably going to make this c3 move. It does look relatively useful. And yeah, we're always ready to castle as well. I suspect he's in the business of g5, g4 here. Castles. I'm looking at a4. Looks like kind of a nice square. What do we want to do here? Many decent options. Also, this knight is very likely to show up there. Let's just go rook e1 for now. In anticipation of this, I'm thinking of maybe putting the bishop on f1. Okay, queen c2. I think we'll just do nothing. I was also looking at this, but maybe just bishop d2 for now. I was actually thinking of taking if the rook wasn't hit. So I suppose we'll go here and go back to f1, especially if this happens, to spend some time on this move, but that's okay. I actually think I am ready to take this, even though it doesn't look like it, just because there's no mate there and we will end up a piece. So yeah, this is a good one. We're gonna have to go on a little bit on the defensive here. Knight d4 I kind of like, hitting the knight as well. Also h3. I mean, h3 is always going to be a decent move. Not going to be surprised by the next move here, knight e5. takes so that we can push seems pretty good, so maybe we can make that happen. Oh, queen takes. Let's go here. High energy idea, but fortunately for me, f4 is very much a move that I'm interested in playing anyway. We've maintained these bishops as well. I respect that move. Go bishop f4. I was looking at this, but we can keep it safe with king h1. I definitely respect knight takes e5. You know, that looks like a move that should yield some good stuff. Like, I imagine most of the time that type of move would be very, very successful. So now it's my turn. Now I'm the one making the mate threats, and we'll see if he can hold on. We are hitting this bishop here. Kind of ties the queen down. Or so I thought. I guess it did tie the queen down, but okay, that's also hanging. We can take this, and then we can just finish it off with queen g7. Well played to chessbrah. Yeah, this is what I mean. Knight takes e5 in general. I mean, that's a high yield move. Like, threatening mate and the bishop. Not everyone's producing bishop f4 after that. So I think he did pretty well. The advantage always seemed to be climbing. So even though it looked like he was making some threats, it felt like we were pushing him back a little bit. But it's true that this bishop on c5 was never sort of properly dealt with. On our end, so it was so annoying. But you remember I said this was like, it was a clear prophylactic move that was just too deep for me. Like, that's a different planet, and you can see here just how nice it is for me not to be able to expand with b4 a4 stuff like that at any point during this game. It legitimately did benefit black to have that pawn on a5. So I give him credit for that one, absolutely. Okay. Knight there. We just gotta make sure we get the moves right. So we can go here. We'll go d6, knight d7, and now e5. There we go. Bishop e7 and oh, okay. I mean, up to you, my man. I don't think that was worth a piece, but as always, I will let you be the judge of that. I'm wondering if we should play this. We can also just go knight back, but yeah, I think I will play this. Most likely going to see long castle or just rook d1. Somehow that does not seem as effective as just castling. Oh no, he's gonna take. That's a really bad move. Yeah, he's just trading a bunch of pieces after losing a piece, then trading a bunch more. That's not the vibe. Discovered attack. He might play c4. Uh-oh. Had a feeling. Poor guy. The king discovered attack. We'll bring the rook. We have a lot of nasty bishops incoming. Yeah, these bishops will both make it into the center here, most likely. And as I said, I will be impressed if he can manage a defense here. Let's actually go bishop back. I just want to bring the bishop into the action, and we might get that satisfying checkmate. So I'll just set it up with rook takes a2, and it's just check, check, and mate. Or if rook e1, he might accelerate things. Yeah. GG. No trouble at all setting things up in the opening. We got our position here, and I'm just sitting here and the guys are taking, like, seriously. I'm at almost 700. I haven't done that much. I've definitely dealt with a couple tough customers. Some guys that I would expect would honestly beat most 600s, but for the most part, I'm sitting here in the opening, and by move 10, I'm up a piece, like most games. And it's not because I'm out there like hunting their pieces down and just GM tactics on them. No, I'm sitting here. They're giving up pieces, and surprise, surprise, I'm taking them. That's all I'm doing. Okay. D4. So I'll play knight here, cover some squares. We'll play D6, knight D7, and then E5. C6 obviously makes quite a bit of sense. It's part of our setup anyway, and obviously to block a pin is just helpful. You can't tell me that you can't be this rating too. There's no way you should be lower than this rating. I'm sitting here, my hands are up. My hands are up. And they're taking, it's the same, like I'm not doing anything. They're just taking it. They think this is a tactic. Knight takes e5, knight takes e5, queen takes queen. And the fact that my king has to move, I promise you, they think that's a tactic. I don't think they're missing the knight. I think they think this is a tactic. Like, I'm being for real. This is, I'm just starting up a piece every single game. This could be you guys. This could be you. We just have the one extra bishop here. Bishop somewhere next. It's a good move. I want to put this bishop on c5 and then this one on h3. Especially because something like, you know, if he doubles the rooks and I have my bishop on h3, he's going to forget that the d7 square is covered. So I think that's the way to do it. Let's go here. Yeah, so here, here, and then maybe like just random like rook here or something. Okay, it goes there. I'm not exactly sure what's up with that, but I do know that this looks like I'm making a threat. So maybe something like this. Just yeah. Like I said, there's once the bishop is out there, there's no way he's gonna see it coming back. Like once it's gone, it's like it's out. It'll never return. It's into the ether. Once the bishop moves diagonally, it never comes back. And there we go. A beautiful 700 on the dot, may I add. On the dot. An argument could be made, hey Hambo, why didn't you play rook e8? But no. You had to play a move that looked like you didn't know what was going on. So I don't know what it is. In the first couple 100 points of this speedrun, it was me moving my knight out and the opponent's just hanging a pawn. Now it is routinely my opponent's just capturing my center pawn when it's defended. And like what's going on? And the ratings are going up. Like the ratings of my opponents, they're going up, by the way. It might not feel like it, but I promise you they are. So there we go. A nice little quick pickup, quick hundo. And we are at 700. It's a beautiful thing. At 900, they'll start giving rooks. I didn't think about it like that, but you have a point. They're hanging more material as the rating goes up. You'd think it would be the opposite, but we have definitive evidence that is not the case. So, yep, we'll be on the lookout. 900, 1000 elo, maybe they'll be hanging rooks. True, Josh. That's the that's the truth, isn't it? A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Well, let's put together another 100. What do you think, AB? You gave it a go? What do you think of it? You gave it a go at your rating, right? Like at on your main? I think we have another 100 in us, and then let's not forget Buddy Pranav puzzles tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll be streaming earlier than that, so especially for the EU bras, the morning bras, we'll be back. But Buddy Pranav on Kick at 12 Eastern. Should be very fun to follow his puzzle grind, because he's going to be in there with some really strong players. All right, let's go. Knight f3, d3, knight here. We'll go for e4. Go for c3, mainly because I'm kind of expecting this, and I think I'll play queen c2 to deal with it. This bishop looks like one that I think I'm just gonna take, secure the bishop pair for myself. Queen c2. He goes here. We can see the threat. We can play g3. We can play h3. Both look fine. I'm a little bit partial to the move g3 because he doesn't have a light square bishop, so g3 does look safe. But maybe h3 is the one. I'm not too sure. I'll go h3. It's a little bit more consistent with how we play this system in general. Oh, I can already see. Okay, so we go here. If he's good, I'm expecting this. And he's been playing pretty well, so I actually am expecting that. Okay, castles feels kind of nice for us. So I'm still expecting this. So actually, I'm gonna play a4. I am expecting this bishop move. I think he's capable of it. A4 is a nice move. Interesting. Wow, rook h4. Ladies and gentlemen, what a move right there. In general, I would say developing your rooks like that is like, you know, on the more advanced side. I guess we go bishop here. Yeah, rook 8. I mean, I might be able to boot it out with some kind of g3, but it's definitely not obvious. Bishop g5, though, looks like a very good move. I believe that's what we are going to play. Should kick the rook backwards for the first time this game. Okay, I mean, 700. I'm surprised that we're even at the level where we can comprehend the idea of sacking a piece. So, color me impressed. Color me impressed. We could castle either direction. I think I'll go this way. You know, these rooks into the middle. It's pretty good. And there will be some work to do converting this position. Down a pawn. That's a... Dang, that's a harsh way to evaluate this position. This one looks pretty reliable. We do have checkmate here, and so I think it will be taken. Queen c7 can be played, but yeah, really not bad, because if I take this, then you can imagine, okay, the endgame's a little bit tough to win after knight d5. Like, it's a super solid position, but we have queen d8 mate. I thought this guy was definitely anyone who can sack a piece. I'm not saying it was a good sacrifice, but anyone who can do it definitely is a more dangerous opponent. So no, this was not a good move. We got a winning position immediately from it, but I don't know, willingness to just sacrifice a piece like that, because it's definitely a very intentional thing. You know, when you're going here, you're attacking. You know that this is defending, so you know you're giving it up. And he didn't have to. He could have just retreated. So, like, that's a very thoughtful player right there. Hello, Aiden. How are you, buddy? All right, let's go for another one. We're gonna start, as always, with knight f3. Stop giving me that pawn. I'm not gonna stop taking it, so you better stop giving it. Knight there. Doesn't look too bothersome. I mean, we're enjoying a pretty comfortable position here, I want to say. Whenever we see some pawn on b5, you know, pretty much always throw the a pawn up there. And once you have the rook open, always be on the lookout for these nice tactics. Bishop takes b5. Okay, we have a couple of options, a couple of pieces to take. I kind of like bishop back, actually. I mean, we can do that. I suppose this is probably the best move. If we're being honest, I think this is probably the best move. But I kind of like this. No castling for you. I am threatening this bishop, which is easy to forget. Yeah, let's keep this. I think that's very bothersome. He's gonna have to castle this way. It's not look good. Okay, we also have queen d5 here. I'm liking queen d5. We have the rook hanging now. This I also thought about for a second, but it's not going to be better than taking a free rook. And guess what? We still are stopping him from castling. So very, very annoying bishop. I'm sure a few times he's tried to play this move and it just has not been working. Okay, let's go e5. We'll either get a nice trade here or he'll take this way and then we'll be able to take that pawn. So seems worth it to me. Let's take. This is an extremely likely move. Rook g8. I mean, the bishop is a long way away. Yeah, this is friendly. Get to take here and deliver a very satisfying checkmate, utilizing some pieces from very far away. GG. Stop doing it. Stop giving me the e-pawn. I'm gonna keep taking it. Like, it doesn't take a genius to play this move. So, PSA: keep taking that pawn until they stop blundering it. Okay. I think our highest rated opponent so far. E4, D6. Make sure to go with the knight next. Ay. It should not be this easy. Okay. Suspect he's gonna blunder the rook as well. I mean, this has not been my opponent's day. Oh, he's not even gonna take my knight. Oh no. I'd almost prefer him to take it. Help me develop. G3. Low key, this is like mildly annoying. It's so annoying. I'm gonna play here. Okay. Knight b6 looks like a move we want to play. Okay, he plays here. Immediately I'm looking down there, but also conscious that he may be plotting. Let's offer a trade. Okay, he does go here. I think mainly just because he can, but yeah, not particularly good. We still have our rook on h1. It's almost disguised as his piece, because like, why would my rook be there? Yeah, I'm not doing much here. I'm just kind of taking every single thing he's throwing at me, and he's throwing a lot at me. Okay, so there's an attack. We will need to move this rook. I think I'm actually gonna go here though. Oh, it would be my first blunder. Not that it really matters, but pick a safer move there. Yeah, because after bishop there, you know, we could play c6, which we would get this piece. We would basically have 3 pieces ahead, but still, gotta play the good moves. Don't blunder that. Oh, I don't know what that is. My rook is getting a workout here. Oh my god. How many pieces has this goddamn rook taken? Just feasting here. Put him out of his misery. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy for your sake, my friend, that the game ended there. That rook took basically every one of his pieces. But guys, you know how we start every game? People are blundering this way too often. Like, this opening that we're doing, it almost feels like a cheat code to just win the e-pawn. Okay, knight f3. Looks like we're both going to be 2 ships in the night here. He's got his setup, most likely. We're going for ours. They don't really intersect with one another. Yeah. Okay, c3. And now we're at that point where I usually go for a bit of an expansion on this side of the board. These pawn moves feel really nice to play next. Okay, a6. So, yeah, we can't play that move just yet. Bring our rook, attack that bishop. Curious what he wants to do. Anytime someone fianchettos and then pins your knight, you always play h3 because they can no longer go back. So it's always a very good idea to just see what they're trying to do. d5, so I'm actually not going to take here. I'm probably just going to play queen c2, defend this. He pushes. Again, I don't think I'm going to take this. It takes a lot of practice and patience to play these positions, but yeah, I'm not going to take that one. I don't think I'm going to take this one anyway. I'm going to move my bishop so that if it gets taken, then we can bring the bishop back into the game to c3. The question is whether we want to take or move this way or this way. I'm going to go b2. Takes. We can take like that. Okay. We'll take here, and then take here. Not 100% sure what's happening. There's all sorts of moves he could do there. That might have been the worst one, unfortunately. Oh no, why is he thinking? He better be taking back. Yes. Knight takes e4, bishop takes there. He's all right. Queen b2. Yeah, actually, I think... yeah, okay. Let's go here. Queen d8, queen c3, knight e4 is a problem, so I think we need to go queen b2. That's a good move, though. Queen d8. This guy's... He's got some moves here. So e5 will probably end things. Even though he can play queen e6 and take here, I think he's going to be running into trouble. We're going to have rook a8 or just taking on g7. Yeah, so I knew that he was capable of finding a move like this, but after we take here, it's not going to be pretty for him. So we have an option. We can check and then go bishop c5. That looks very good. We can otherwise just take, but then maybe after rook there, we might have some hard work to checkmate. So I actually think that this might lead to the fastest win. Threatening mate. If here, we'll threaten mate again by covering that square. If here, we'll threaten mate again by covering that square. But luckily, he doesn't put up much of a fight, and bishop f8 will be checkmate. Okay, we're up against this fianchetto in this one. You're never gonna have a problem setting up your first like whole bunch of moves. Pretty much once you see me in this position, I'm playing like rook there, queen there, but at that point it's time to push the pawns, gain a little bit of space. Anytime I see this, I'm pretty much asking the question immediately with the pawn. And then this is probably the moment where it's the most important to pay attention. Like, we don't really want to play these open positions where the bishop is getting dangerous. Like, I want to maintain a pawn on e4 for the most part in this system. And here, you know, if I push, I'm blundering that. Takes, who knows? So I think bishop b2 makes the most sense. So a couple areas of being a little patient there rather than just capturing. And once I move the bishop to b2 to d2, whatever, I'll all of a sudden be threatening b5, and then I feel like we can continue from there pretty naturally. Okay, d6. We're gonna take our tempo on the pawn. A lot of people do play e5. We'll just take and play knight d7. I think bishop takes. Maybe the bishop could go here. a4. I mean, dude, these guys, I'm telling you, they got some prophylaxis here. a4. Queen there. I mean, I guess I will defend that. Bishop b5, queen here. I'm gonna put some respect on his name and play a6. The a4 move is just too good. Tough to handle. Okay, I think it may be time for a little e4. I suspect he's going to play d3. He doesn't. Instead, he blunders a pawn. The other thought is swapping sides of the board here and going like that, but I don't think that's yet correct. Okay, we'll bring the bishop back. Goes here. Maybe not familiar with our en passant game. And now I think it is time to make some threats here because they're very tough to deal with. He goes here, but that's not actually it's not actually guarding the pawn. Like, I can still take it. Knight takes f2 looks like a big problem, and we're only 18 moves in the game, but he's gonna resign there. GG to Bobby. Yeah, okay, e5 is not the worst. It's definitely not a good move, but I mean, it's hard to make an argument that white has a good position when black has two pieces developed. It doesn't really make sense. So yeah, we play d6, we play knight there. And yes, a few people will play e5, and yeah, we're more than happy to play these positions. These are just not very good for white. Okay, knight f3, stopping e5, which means people usually have to work a little bit harder to get the pawn there. And for example, they could play it now, and they do. Will we go here? Looks fine to me. Very normal. Bishop to c5. Let's go here. Okay, stopping knight g5. Okay, I'm going to start with this. Try to get ahead of the bishop c5 move. He might play a5, which is more than okay. It would be a good move, actually, so... okay, well, first things first, I'm going to play it, because I'm just curious how he's going to react. But b6 looks like a very risky move to do. So knight c4 is, it's going to be okay. Knight takes e5. I think that's the real dagger of a move here, because we're going to take on c6 and then take on a8, and that's a lot of material already. Plus, it just feels like he could easily blunder his queen in the middle, so I hope he doesn't do that one as well. It's a good move. It's a good move. Also bishop d6 happening, but I think we will bait that by going here because we're actually really interested in that. He plays a nice move with knight g4. I like that one. Queen takes e4, rook e1 is the end of the game. And if queen h5, which, oh no, well, that's no good. Knight f3 was multi-purpose. There we go. We take that. So I feel like a lot of people saw the concept for the speedrun. Pawn here, you know, this setup, and probably thought, okay, like we're not really playing for anything too crazy, you know, we're gonna be crushing people, it's not like the Stonewall. What's the average length of the games we've played so far? It feels like it's about 20 moves or less. Like, you get a lot of quick wins here as well. Not because the opening is particularly aggressive, but people are hanging things left and right. They're hanging their center pawn, they're forgetting about pieces. Maybe it's just the new and interesting arrangement of the pieces that I'm placing. People aren't used to it, and they're just like not expecting certain squares to be covered. I don't know. You tried it just now, Guppy. 95% accuracy. There you go. 15 moves. A.B. Shakespeare tried it with some success. Oh, that's a big vouch. A.B., have you been continuing to try it there? I'm telling you, it's easy to play. Great positional concepts, good chess understanding comes out of this as well. All right, let's try once again with the black pieces. D6, taking control of that. Now we want to make sure to attack that pawn, gain our tempo. Some people play e5, it's a terrible move. Knight c3 makes more sense. And now, okay, good. I'm glad we got to see this f4 move. So let's see how he wants to play it. There's two things that I could do here. The first thing is I could allow the pawn to be taken and then wait to take it back. So I'll probably first try that for this game here. So I'll play c6, see how he wants to play. But I'm looking forward to seeing this opening more often. So we'll see how white handles knight g4. He goes here, which means I think it's probably time to take. We could take this way, or we could even play bishop c5, but I'm thinking that knight here makes the most sense. Okay, I think we will take, just because there's no need to have me capture if I don't need to. But we'll definitely check this one out afterwards. Knight e3, bishop c5 makes a lot of sense. It will force the bishop back, but the question is, do I want to just get my hands on this bishop right away? Do we want to just take it? Because that's a very tempting offer. That on e5, knight on e5 is strong, but I don't know if it's strong enough to allow the bishop to stay on b3. I don't think it is. I've decided. It's a pretty strong piece. So we're just gonna keep it simple. We're gonna take, we're gonna develop, we're gonna attack it at the same time. Maybe gonna long castle. This feels, oh, okay, well, this feels pretty easy. Just give a check, force the king to the corner, and then I think long castle. When the bishop goes here, I think we can just meet it with bishop d4. So just kind of waiting for him to develop there. He doesn't. He goes there instead. That's a tough move right there. A6 is bait of the year. Just had to give him a chance. I think he played bishop e5 too soon. He forgot about this blunder. He didn't realize he could blunder with rook f2, so I just needed to remind him he can blunder, and then he did. All right. We will definitely be seeing this. So definitely something to take a look at. I had to play one game with c6 just to discuss it. But in general, against this, I think as we move up the ranks, I will definitely be taking this, which is the move to play. C6. And so the reason that I like this is because really after knight g4, I think that white will go on to probably mess things up in the next couple of moves unless they play one move. And the one move, unfortunately, we're going to get to an elo probably soon where it's just going to be so destructive, which is e6. So this move is always killer. And it's definitely what white should play if you ever find yourself in this. I think, what does it take? Knight g5. You're hitting this, you're hitting this, and you can't really play this without blundering some sort of knight e7. So maybe you could go here, like bishop f4. Already kind of troublesome. So it's playable, but it's just fishy. It's a little fishy. Even against a strong player, you can play that line. They have to know, I think, quite a bit before you're actually lost. So it's workable, but it's not, it takes some time. It's many moves down the line. And they have to play e6 at the start. So that's why I decided to play c6 there. But as I said, if I'm being realistic, pawn takes here is definitely a little bit more in the spirit. And so if I'm playing stronger players, that's probably what I'm going to do. But both are good options. Or I should say both are options. Technically, I wouldn't say c6 is good, but it tends to work really well because a lot of people do not play e6. That's just the truth. And then you just take on e5, and man, it's such a nice position. Yeah, please do, pandas. We had Guppy, AB, pandas now all trying it out. I think with some success. Happy to hear. Happy to hear. Okay. Let's play knight f3, and boom. Give me that pawn. It's still working. 750 elo. They're still handing me that pawn on move 1. Obviously, I'm just going to be playing a different setup completely here because there's no need to play the setup that we're talking about. We're just winning. knight there. I definitely don't believe in that, but we obviously want to let him take so that we can do that. But right now, if we do that, then he's going to have c6, we take the knight, and he's going to take that. So, realistically, if we just bring the knight back, we win a piece. Just had to reason that out. You really do hold all the cards when your opponent is sort of excited to play something and you know that the something they're excited to play is not good. It's a great feeling. Okay, I think we want to play d5, open up this diagonal for some sort of check. This check looks very, very good. Honestly, I'm even looking at bishop to h3. Whoa, what's up with that? He's kind of in trouble here. I don't know what he's going to do next. Okay. We got bishop h3 still. And I'm most likely going to... Okay, so now we go here, and honestly, I'll be impressed if he survives here. So queen d7, king f6. Where's our mate? Definitely gonna start with the check. I think we'll play rook here, not only to cut the king off, but maybe to threaten bishop g5. And yeah, after this, it's a greedy check. Should be able to get a we should be able to get a checkmate here. We're kind of corralling the king, so instead of chasing it back this way and then chasing here and it comes back, we have two options. Number one, we could check here, check, and then sort of check, and then checkmate. Or my preferred option is check. And then all we need to do is give this bishop g5 check. Whatever goes here, or if the king moves, queen d7 will be made. GG. Yeah, no matter what he put there, the same move was going to happen. Nothing to say here, guys. Knight f3, e5. What are we doing? What are we doing? AB Shakespeare, I'm playing a 700 and you're telling me I'm trolling? Are you trying to play like the best engine moves? I'm here to mate the guy. You want to win his queen. I'm playing rook g1 because I want to mate him. I'm locking the king in on f6, closing in for the kill. I checkmated the guy probably 3-4 moves after rook g1. You, on the other hand, with your little engine, might have played queen f5, bishop g5, but would you have won the game in 4 moves? No, you wouldn't. So in fact, you, AB, are trolling. Wasting your own damn time. Habit subs for the ledger. Noted. Tiger. We are adding. To the ledger they go. All right, we continue. Okay, we got an 800 here. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing. For this, attacking, we're gonna play e5. We got our setup here. Okay, and we do see d5. Interesting. All right, so we can continue with this sort of stuff. Play our c6 move. It's useful. Bishop there. It's castle. And now we're getting into knight takes d5 territory. He needs to be a little concerned. We're not quite there yet, but it's close. It's close. Okay, takes. This is always a pleasant pawn structure to have. We're eventually going to try to play for d5. It'll take some time to get there, though. Okay, let's continue with our usual moves. This bishop is very likely going to retreat to b3. That pin looks annoying, so I'm gonna pin it. If the bishop comes back, then it leaves a pretty good post on c4. So I was assuming that, yeah, he wasn't really ever considering that. We'll just make the threat. Ooh, tough choice. If we take there and take there, there is bishop b3, so I will, you know, tend to agree with him and move my bishop back. Maybe I can't quite take there. That's okay. Okay, how do we want to continue? Rook b4 looks good. We've got the bishops, but we don't need to do anything crazy with them yet. Looking at queen here as an idea. Might even take with the pawn, honestly. Tough to say. Yeah, pretty tough to say. I would assume white can set up something like this. But we're building our position. G6, king G7. Okay. Oh, we're happy to take this square from the bishop, though. I think that's an important detail. If we go here, we have to deal with a4. I don't know that I like that. Let's just play this. Okay. I guess we'll go here, though. That I can do. Knight to c5 looks good. Rook a8. That's why we played b4. So now that a pawn is kind of stuck there. And yeah, we can just double up here. Well, get familiar with en passant, my friend. That is a key move. Okay, we can take at this point. We have the two bishops and we have a pass pawn. That has to be worth something. C4, we just take it. Knight takes. I think he might not even see the bishop there. But if he does, then he's going to realize he's in trouble. Take that with check. We just won a knight and a rook. So we are mucho material to the good. Let's go here. And we just need to get one more piece involved in order to deliver a mate. This knight is also covering the square we want to check with. So I would say bishop g5 goes there. Yeah, it's definitely smart. I think rook h2 actually. Yeah, this is the way we activate that final piece. Yeah, check and satisfying checkmate with the bishop. Put him in a box, literally. Guppy, what was the username? We got a lot of friendly Martins. But I have a... You know, there are some guesses. Hello, Yasser. What's up, Yaz? I'm showing the people a nice, friendly opening system that all can use. And very easy to learn where the pieces go and why. Talking about our familiar system. I mean, here it won't feel so special, Yasser. You know, you've sort of seen this opening before. This is the setup. But with white, the setup is so comfy, you can use it there too. So, something like this. Just queen c2, bishop e2, castle, some queenside expansion. So far, a lot of our opponents have been making the exact same blunders, and even though it's not a very aggressive opening, we've been experiencing a lot of success. And I don't mean success because I'm a GM and I'm playing 700s. No, I mean success like I'm sitting here doing nothing and they're just hanging pieces. So a lot of our games have actually been very quick. Yeah, it's a nice system, Yasser. I know you would probably have a bit of a soft spot for a nice positional system like this. It's no English, but I feel like it's kind of a relative. In terms of like an e4, e5 opening, it is on the more positional side. Bobercio, thank you. Saw those come in during the game, but had to focus up, you know, but let's get those added. There we go. You got it, Bob. You played this with white, Yasser? I'll be impressed. Yeah, no idea who that is, Guppy. No idea. Go Bobercio. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Easy there. Everyone's played it. Everyone and their dog has played it with black. I'm saying this is a viable setup for white. And for people that want to practice this setup, it's kind of nice to be able to just play it from both sides. Because as you said, it's pretty nice for black. It's had a history of strong players playing it, and you know, it's made its waves. But utilizing it with white means that it turns into almost like a little bit of a London system, you know. Same thing for white and black. get used to where the pieces go, sort of become an expert at it. Let's see it in action in another one here. All right, so I like to start with knight f3 just to cover the e5 square. And then d5, we'll go d3, knight d2, and finally e4. Yes. Okay, here we go. We basically got the exact thing once again. This will be a very common position, I feel like. Okay, knight e7. That's very intriguing. I'm gonna, as Yasser likes to say, I'll fall for it. Whoa! What a follow-up right there. h5. Okay, I'm in and out, you know, I'm a bandit. Knight takes e5, knight back to f3. No problem. Okay, let's continue with our setup here a little bit. Not to stray too far from the path. He takes, take back. Here, I think I will go queen c2, but we will be following up soon with the move h3. Thought about this for a sec, but don't think we're in a particular rush. Okay, bishop g5. He's unflinching here. Unflinching. Many tempting options here. Actually kind of interested in the long castle approach. Good move there. I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck the king, and he castles this way. You know, the one thing about these 700s is they are fearless. They really are. All right, I'll have to take here. I am nothing if not a guy who captures in that position. Okay, I'm gonna activate my bishop this way. It feels like a very good spot for that bishop to be. Do expect to see a move like knight e5, because if we don't, I might be unleashing the move e5 myself. Hopefully this leads to something. So he takes with the pawn. That's probably the most friendly of captures. Question is, do we play this, or in some world is it possible that knight g5 first is the way to go? Let's do things properly here. Let's check. Yeah, he gave this a couple goes. Bzz, 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 bzz. Didn't quite work. And then knight g5. Notice that this pawn is pinned as well, so there's no f6 to even defend laterally. So I think all the pieces should converge successfully for a nice little checkmate there. GG. Agreed, Yasser. Rook d5 posting up is beautiful. I guess guy like me always looking for a flashy finish. Rook d5 looked far too mature, far too principled. But a very tempting option to be sure. And we got to see the opening in action, but again, our opponent's just hanging that e-pawn. It's amazing. It's probably happened to 50% of our games. They just drop the center pawn. All right. What do we do? How do we set this up? Probably with knight d7 first, although it's not obvious. There we go. And we've pretty much Pretty much got the setup here. This is all we're after. Okay, I think I'll just toss the A pawn up the board. And wow, okay, so he goes immediately with F4. First thing I'm looking at is knight G4, although being honest with you, I think he might be able to cover things with rook F3. But knight G4 certainly has to be tried. But rook F3 is a move that even my opponent here, I think, is going to find, and he does, because it's almost born out of necessity. Like, you have to find it. It's any other move is sort of not acceptable. All right, takes bishop F6. Could be something there. I'm not exactly sure what happens after that, but let's give it a go. It does unleash the rook on the E3 pawn, but I wouldn't say that this is just winning or anything like that. Let's go ahead and take, question mark? Wow, takes queen E2. Who would have thought? That's kind of funny. I guess we have to take with the rook. Not a big letdown, but it feels like knight takes should be the move. Nice to know that we're not getting mated here because we have knight F8, so doing it this way is a little bit safer. I think this is a knight takes G2 moment. Our knight there was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Now maybe we can move this so that we can move our bishop, so that we can bring the rook over. That feels like the way to do things, especially he's got knight here coming, so trying to get ready for that move. Let's go G6, drop that bishop back. Could put the knight here, especially a move like this would be, oh, did not expect that. I see the vision, you know, he's hopeful. Gotta respect it. Queen E8. It's there. It's there. I think this is a moment to retreat some things. Let's bring the bishop back. Probably knight F8, especially if check. Here there is D5, so I think I'll probably still do this. F5, maybe if knight E4 or queen E7. Still move that makes a lot of sense. Has to be said. Maybe we can go here. Something about this move feels correct with F5 or bishop F5 next, and most notably knight F6 is not really an option. Let's go here. Now the rook can finally join the game. It's actually a little bit tricky. I think I'm just gonna take it. Like, you know, maybe there's knight F6 there, to be honest with you. Kind of looked like it was. So I think we'll play rook E8. Also D5 looks like a good move, but I'm never really gonna shy away from just trades. I feel like that's always the answer. And I do like D5 quite a bit because I think we're going to be able to play queen E4. I think this is the way to do it. Yeah, there is a knight takes C5 that I suppose should be played. And should be enough time for us here. Okay. Maybe pre-move that. At this point, even a6 is okay to allow. King h5 will be particularly nice. I think we can take that and just get the bishop out of the way. And oh, good fight, a good fight, a good fight. DK. Not bad at all, my friend. You know, well, I suppose that's probably not that fair to say. Everyone has their skills and they have their weaknesses. He definitely played a decent average level move and understood sort of like putting some pressure on the clock, but you know, knight takes g6 is just pure insanity. So like I said, it's like it was a very good game. I think the overall level of the game was very high, and I award him a lot of credit. But then there's moves like knight g6, they're just inexplicable. Move the queen back. I wonder what he was thinking here, because clearly I'm just going to take it back. So it feels like a one blemish on an otherwise good level shown the entire game. All right, let's go for another. Let's go knight f3. You know we're coming with knight d2. You know we're playing e4. Should be used to the setup by now. Guys, how many times? It's just bonkers. How many times people actually take the pawn in the center when the knight's just sitting there protecting it? I can't like stress enough. I've won so many games from just sitting here. I'm doing nothing. I'm just putting the damn position on the board. I'm trying to teach you how to play the setup. And these guys are just inting their knights on e4. It's wild to me. Like, I don't get it. How is it possible? Ay, ay, ay. I mean, this is rough. Let's simplify here. Bishop d4 will simplify even more, so happy with that. Bishop e2. Yeah, we got two extra pieces here, and it's a bishop pair. And the only thing he's got to show for it is a single pawn. More trades. Good habits. More trades. Yes. More trades. Rook back to d1. There we go. That's what I like to see. Yes. Even more. I'm just trying to keep it real simple. All right, this is going to be a shocker to you, but this forces a win. Okay. Well, I didn't expect it to be this good. I was going to say king d7 takes and knight d4, but he decided to hand it over anyway. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be the trickiest. Let's go b5. He's still playing. He's still fighting the good fight here. Feels like, you know, there are just endless things that can happen. Endless possibilities. Let's go this one. All these pawn moves just don't really cut it. Probably knight back to e4 here. Yeah, he's taking quite a lot of time each move, so he doesn't seem like a speedster. He is playing on, but doesn't seem like a speedy guy. Taking that pawn, taking everything you got, pal. Alright, he's only got 2 squares here. I wonder if he's going to pick up the pace. He's really not too speedy. Oh, here we go. The pre-move started. They started coming as soon as he saw the knights on the board. He said, "Oh no, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I've seen this movie before." Yeah, that's fair. As soon as you see the knight on the board, he said, "Okay, no, I get it. I see what's happening here, and I'm not gonna be a part of this clown show." There we go. Up to 800 on the dot as well. What a beautiful rating. GG to TD View. We take those. Nice of Yasser to show up for the important games here. It's between 7 and 800. These are where champions are made down here. Another 2025 peak, Tim. So just contributing yet another one to the count. And it's oof. It's a good opening. I like it. MC, this is not the habits. Nope. We're still raising subs for habits. We will bring it back. If we hit 1,000 subs, specific habit subs, we're at about 350 right now. Oh, we just wrapped it up, Doc Banner. We did a couple 100 points tonight, but it's basically like a Philidor setup. You can check the account if you're curious, like my username here, Red Wine Reduction. If you're interested in seeing the starting setup, you'll understand pretty quickly what it looks like. But yes, we haven't. This is separate. This is a speed run. This is not the Habit series. We may bring the Habit series back in February, but still TBD. Yasser, sorry to hear about your Cowboys there, buddy. Inspo for the username. Nah. Just a random collection of words and phrases. Sub-zero in St. Louis. Oh, it's cold up here in Canada and Toronto here, Yaz. You would definitely be freezing your nads off, that's for sure. Yasser would not be in a good mood visiting Canada right now. It's that temperature. Miss the speedrun. Sorry, Boris. We're streaming at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so we are wrapping up now. Saying goodnight to everyone. Yasser is also out. When Yasser disperses, the crowd disperses. Buddy Pranav will be competing in the Puzzle Championship on our channel tomorrow with Cam and Screen Share. So that'll be at 12 noon. It'll be back on Kick. So right here, you're already in the right spot. I will be streaming tomorrow morning on Twitch beforehand to build up a little bit of energy, which means I need to get some sleep so that I can be back and fresh tomorrow morning. But we got a couple 100 points more on our speedrun done. See everyone tomorrow. We have, let's see. Who's anyone streaming right now? Our boy Matt's streaming. Time to send the raid off, or the host. Have a good one, everyone. Like I said, I'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early on Twitch. And we are continuing with some puzzles. We may not get to the speedrun tomorrow. I never want to make any promises, but yeah, the next 2 days I'll be streaming in the morning and Pranav will be playing puzzles after. So hopefully he qualifies tomorrow and makes it to the finals on Friday. See you guys then.